everybody? Happy? Hi. Where is it? Oh, this is much nicer. Yesterday was really, really busy. I could hardly hear anything. This is like a nice Sunday, a bit calmer, a bit quieter. Thank you all very much. I've had an amazing time. I keep saying, I'm amazed. I keep meeting all these really beautiful, fit people. I don't know how you live in this country. We're in France. This is good in and out. There's nothing but waffles and chocolate and French fries, and yet you all look really healthy and happy and gorgeous. What up with that? That's all I got. Thank you, bye! Okay, I'm bored of me. You guys are not bored of me yet. Amazing. Do we have any questions? Is there any stuff about Stargate you want to know? Or any dirt on the other actors? I'll be happy to dish. They're not here.
They said Stargate is finished. You don't make your episode anymore. Is that true?
Yes. Sucks, right? Yeah, for us too. We miss it. We miss it. I keep having people coming up to me about if there's going to be, hey Chris, if there's going to be a movie. And I always say, you guys hear the rumors, or you usually know more about what's going on than we do. So if they're imagine hear it from you first. Is this going in and out? Seems like it. It's weird. But the fact that they're selling parts of the Stargate on eBay, it's not a good sign, right? They'll have to rebuild a whole new Stargate. Oh well. Fingers crossed.
When you died in Stargate, was it your choice or did you write your own?
Which time? I think I died 8 times. I started to call Dr. Weir a cat.
The last time.
The last time. Yeah, I don't think any actor ever asked to be killed off. We're freelance, you know, we like the regular paycheck. But I did, they asked me to come back. I'm not sure, you know, how much spoiler stuff there is here, but I knew at the end of season 3, I was asked, it was offered to me if I could either be at that point written out or come back as a reoccurring character. And I said, well, I'll come back as a reoccurring, that's fine. And then by the end of season 4, they asked me again to come back for 1 episode, and I sort of felt the way they used her that year wasn't honorable to Dr. Weir. I sort of felt they kept sort of killing her and leaving her suspended somewhere, and that they weren't finishing the story or having a complete arc for her. So the last time I said to them, I'm not willing to come back unless you tidy up her ending and make it a succinct, clear ending. And they weren't willing to do that, so that's why I didn't do the last episode. That I think another actor played me. I think they had like 3 actors at the end that played Dr. Weir. It's kind of good. So not fully my choice, but I'll take it. Good morning.
Hi. There was another actress playing Dr. Weir first. How was it to take over? Was there something about the way she portrayed the character that you wanted to change, or?
There's always lots of rumors that go around, and my stance is always like, unless you're in the room, you don't know for sure what happened. So I don't know for sure what happened. I know for me, when I auditioned for the part, I had an idea that the character had been introduced before, so it wasn't until after I was offered the part. And at that point, that was it made me very nervous, because it's very difficult. I started to second guess and think, well, who did they hire before, and why did they hire her? And should I watch what she did and have that influence my choices? So there's a lot of those questions, and Brad Cooper was one. I spoke to him about it, and he said, you know, do what you did. We hired you from what you did in the room. Just continue with that. I always wish that they would reference it on some level, about hair color changed or something. Is that better? Oh, that's better, I think. We'll find it. So yeah, it was an interesting process to go with that, taking over another character. But I had to, once I shut up at work, just go, I'm here and I'm brunette, and deal with it. Oh, there's a question. I could probably get there quicker.
Have you ever had a crush on Shepard?
Have I ever had a crush on Shepard? Oh, who doesn't? I like to crush Shepard. I'm going to see Joe next weekend. I'm so excited. I haven't seen him since we were shooting. I haven't seen him for about 3 years or something. So It'll be funny if you recognize each other. See sort of old actors crawl up. But I'm looking forward to seeing him. I think Paul McGillian's going to be there too. So he is? Awesome. Thank you. So that's going to be a really fun reunion. And I'll see if I can crush him again. I probably will. He's pretty handsome. Anybody else have a crush on Shepard? Yes? No? Nobody else? I don't believe that.
I was wondering what it was like on the set, and if you have any dirt on the other characters or actors, I'd really like to know as well.
Well, Joe's got a drinking problem, Hewlett's got a heroin problem, and McGillian's got a sex problem. But other than that, it was very fun. I used to talk about, when I first went up there, I was at the same time we were shooting the pilot for Atlantis, I was also shooting an episode with SG-1 because they had to reintroduce Weir as a brunette instead of a blonde. So my first month up there, I was working on both sets equally. And it was really interesting because the SG-1 set, they'd been around for 8-9 years at that point. They were very comfortable with each other. All kinds of bad behavior and gas jokes. Never be anywhere close to Christopher Judge after lunch. Anywhere close to him for, as long as you can avoid him, the better. And then I'd go over to the Stargate, the Atlantis set, and we were all newbies. It was our first job, and I also knew the last Weir had gotten fired, so I was on my best behavior. Like, I didn't know what that was about. So it was a very, two different worlds. We were like the brown noses and, you know, very serious, and SG-1 was the jokesters. So yeah, not so much. Our set started being a bit more jokey when Jason Momoa showed up. He kind of put everything in a tizzy, and he likes to do everything he can to pull the rug out from underneath people's feet, and he's very, very good at it.
You said you go through a lot of pages on set in the series. So is it difficult to remember all the lines because you have loads of text?
I think it's a muscle. It's a muscle memory because, you know, I think it used to be when I first started working, I would be terrified. I would be, you know, up all night and so nervous I was going to forget my lines. But it is a muscle memory. I sort of find now, I think my long-term memory is shot. I can memorize 10 pages in an hour probably, but then the next day I won't remember what I had for lunch. So, I mean, it's kind of, it compartmentalizes in your brain. And that muscle's sort of strong with me right now, so it's not as difficult. And there's a process too that you don't actually try to memorize the lines, you just work on the ideas, and you spend your time focusing on what is this person going through right now, what is the situation, the emotion of their situation, and then the lines kind of make sense, which is, it takes the pressure off in a weird way. And also another trick is you always put the script under your pillow the night before. I don't know if it works, but it can't hurt.
Me again. I missed the beginning of this Q&A, so I don't know if it's already been asked. But how did your career started as an actress? Second question, how did you get in Stargate? And the third question, I'm not sure, but didn't you work with Charles Bronson for Family of Cops?
Oh, you're good. You've done your research. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Again, short-term memory, you might have to remind me. How did I get into the business? My mother was actually a theater actor growing up, and she was a single mom, and she sort of worked as raising 2 kids on a theater actor's salary, so she worked a lot as a substitute teacher. So I grew up as a kid going, I will never ever be an actor. I want a regular job, I want to be a lawyer or an optometrist. Those were the jobs I wanted to do. I got older and I fell in love with language and poetry, and I thought I'm going to go to England and I'm going to study Shakespeare because I was a very uncool teenager and I thought Shakespeare was awesome. And during the process of studying Shakespeare in England, I just fell in love with the process, and I thought, well, I'll give this a go and see what happens. So I kind of fell into it by mistake, and 20 years later I go, oh, what else could I do? I have no idea. Stargate, I'd been down in LA for about 3 years at the time. I was supposed to move to New York City. I had an apartment waiting for me. I got to LA for a holiday, and September 11th happened. I never had a desire to live in LA because I'm much more of a theater actor. So I found myself in America, living in America for the first time, right when America had gone cuckoo. Like, it was so scared. It was this fear-based, strange place. So the first year there was just sort of, everybody was numb, and there weren't many auditions. There wasn't much work. Everybody was sort of reeling in this weird thing. And after about a year and a half, I finally went, I haven't worked for a year, what's going on? And I got a call from my agent up in Canada saying there's an audition next week, do you want to do it? And it was for this show called Stargate that I never heard of, and I got it. And it was amazing. And 10 days later, I was driving up the coast to Vancouver going, I wonder what the next 5 years is going to be about. And I had no idea it was going to mean this, that I get to travel the world and meet amazing people, but I had no idea what it was going to mean. It was quite wonderful. And Chucky Bronson, yes, I did work with him once on he had a series called Family of Cops, a television series. I think I remembered all three. That's crazy, I'm so proud of myself. And he was wonderful, he was very funny. He was about 73 years old at the time, I think, and during the read-through, he kept saying, yeah, who wants that line? I'm just paid to be here, I don't want to memorize lines. And he was giving away all his lines. It was fantastic. They're like, oh, that's what happens when an actor gets older. Because when actors are younger, they're like, I want that line, I want that line. When you get older, you're like, man, just give me the paycheck. But he was very funny too, because almost every single day, every time I would stand close to him, I don't know if you know, in television they always say, they prep the camera, there's sound, and they say camera, and then action. The camera has to say rolling, and then the director says action. And they probably go through that series easily 50 to 100 times a day on set. Every single time the cameraman would say rolling, Charles Bronson would quietly just start going, it was so bizarre. He thought, oh my gosh, you've probably done that for 50 years. He was lovely though. Mad, but lovely.
Who wants the last question?
Peter.
If you were a world leader for a day, what law would you introduce?
Oh, you know what I always thought would be amazing? You know how some countries have, kids have to do a year of military between a certain age? I think if every single person between high school and secondary education, you had to do a year of service, and it had to be in a country that didn't speak your language. Some people would choose military, some people would choose Red Cross, some people would choose the Peace Corps. You could choose whatever you wanted, but you had to do a year of service in a country and a culture that didn't speak your language. I think one generation of that would get rid of a whole lot of misunderstanding that creates a lot of crazy politics. So that's what I would introduce.
Ladies and gentlemen, Torri Higginson.